There we go.
Good morning, y'all. Welcome to the stream. As you can see, we got a special guest on today. What's up, Goose?
Hello, we're here.
Yep,
despite the month.
Yeah, Goose is dealing with some weather issues right now, guys. So
yeah, we've gotten like 4 inches of rain in the last like 3 hours. So there's a lot of flooding going on in the streets. If all of a sudden you see like a water coming behind me, that's just yeah, that's all the rain.
Yes, Phoenix, it's the Yum Yum guy. It's the Yum Yum guy.
The Yum Yum guy. Gang signs and Yum Yum zones. That's what we're about here.
Now that I know what that is, I agree.
Yeah. So we got a few zones on YM today that we could hit, like the 4380 level. Like we got some single prints down there. I did not think we would be here like already, but Friday was pretty early.
Friday wrecked me, brother. I'm not gonna lie. Like I took it on the chin on Friday.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume a lot of people probably did if they weren't expecting that big of a sell-off. I personally wasn't either. Like I said it in my chat like first thing in the morning is like, I'm gonna long out of opening range, and if we don't break out of the top of opening range, I'm just gonna be flat. And then we just sold straight off right from open. I was like, well, nothing really I can do here. And then like we sold like, I don't know, it was like on NQ, we sold what, 200 points in like first hour, and I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna sit out because this is a lot more selling than I had anticipated personally.
Yeah, I mean, how do you short the hole? I just can't get on board with that. I need a pullback of some kind, and there just wasn't one on Friday.
Yeah, that was a pretty violent sell Friday. Because like I said, I expected Friday to be the low, like that was in the trade plan and everything. And for my like white short swing, like when we cleaned out Thursday's low, that was my take profit. Then we sold a lot more after that. I kind of thought Friday would be maybe like buy up. Like I thought we were just having like a relief pullback, and maybe we are, and the relief pullback is just really, really big.
Yeah. I mean, what are you looking at today? Are you going to be looking at the indexes, or are you going to look at something a little different?
I'll be looking at the indexes mostly. But I mean, we can definitely talk about like corn and wheat and some of those fun commodities that we've been discussing a little bit.
Yeah. You just you let me know if you're going to do that, because I need to flip over to your charts. Right now, it's currently on my charts.
Yeah, we'll open happen here a little bit. I want to see if YM floats down here a little bit lower, and then maybe I'll look at if we can clean out that 380 level and then catch a bit above that, I'll definitely long. But until then, I'm gonna sit. Nasdaq's already selling pretty aggressively. We're already down 100 from open almost.
Yeah, I'm seeing the daily 20. It looks like Friday, obviously, we sold right through it, but we came up on the overnight and basically tapped it and rejected on the daily. So I'm thinking probably this daily 50 down here, right around that 20,300 level, is probably where we're heading towards.
27,350. Got a single print down there as well, so
okay,
that definitely out. Yeah, we got some single prints down there, and then honestly, I'm running as like we're almost have retraced this entire election move, which is insane because the election move itself was insane. Like that is the most wild pump and dump shit coin I think I've seen in a while.
Guys, if you haven't yet, Goose has a YouTube channel. Please subscribe to his YouTube channel. I think it's just Bananabreadtrades, correct?
Just Bananabreadtrades.
Yep.
The one and only.
If you have
Although
not
you
joined
might find you'll find a lot of banana bread recipes out there as well.
I'm pretty sure Mason has a command in my chat, exclamation point banana bread, and I think it pops up a recipe in my chat actually.
That's the key to making money, honestly. It's just eat banana bread, make money. That is the theme. The way of life.
But yeah, guys, if you haven't subscribed, also he's got a Discord. He's really close to 1,000 members in that Discord. It seems like
We're
you
never
get
gonna
so,
break it.
bro. It seems
It's
like you
never
get
gonna break
so
it.
close, and then you have these randos just leave.
Yeah, it's mostly just bots. But yeah, we've been at like that 970 like 995 range
Yeah.
for probably like a year now. So I've just accepted that we will never break 1,000. This is never gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, brother. We're gonna get you there.
Zero faith anymore. It's been too long. But also, like, I haven't really been putting out much for content either, so it's not like I've been pushing it really that much.
I will say, your admin logs are one of the funniest things, one of the funniest channels on Discord that I've ever seen in my entire life.
You know, it's funny because we kept the admin logs just for the admins for a long time.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of slow in chat one day, but like we were having a whole bunch of bots like come and go. I was like, I need to make this public because like it's just me and my decoy like talking shit in there all the time about the bots. I was like, everyone needs to see like how many people actually come and go like every single day. And then now it's become like the new we like my Discord is more about just like shit talking, but in like a different channel, different times of the day.
Yeah.
Mostly in like Bull Meadows Journal is normally where we shit talk.
Okay.
But so like we just kind of migrate through like different chants of the day, like of where we're just talking shit at.
Yeah, I guess we should say our hellos, shouldn't we? I haven't really. Let's see who's in here. Good morning, Abu. Palm, welcome. Dave, Phil, Khalid, Brian, welcome. Hey, Brian, reach out to me when you get a second. We got to get you on stream as well.
We do. Brian's chill.
Yeah, I know he said he was trying to play catch up a little bit on the year, so I'm gonna give him time, but I do want to get him on. Eunice, welcome. Martin, Zanek, Bryce, Phoenix. Who else is here right now? Joel, Mountaineer Trading. Jeez, a lot of new people, a lot of new faces. Welcome, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to my channel, please. Bradis, welcome. Chris. All right, Goose. I'm gonna flip over to your charts here, brother, for a second. You can take over for a few minutes now that I've said my hellos.
Okay, looks like we're catching a little bit of a bid on YM here, but not really anything worth taking to the long side. We're kind of just in the middle of this overnight range, so still just chilling flat. I might honestly just chill flat all day today and see if we're gonna break. Like we have the weekly low right here, like last week's low. I think we actually already broke it. Yeah. So last week's low on YM was on 43,477. So we broke that. And see if we sweep that and like continue on to the upside, because we could definitely float all the way back up to 835, which is my next single print above. But I'd really like to sweep the overnight lows before we go there. Definitely before I take anything. That's for sure.
You know what's funny? On YM, I have not updated my levels since I first started looking at them when I told you I was going to trade them. And we are right back into those levels right now.
Yeah. That was just like a gnarly, the last like weeks were so gnarly as far as like how much everything moved. Like it's kind of insane.
Trump pump.
Something that was, like I said, it really was fun.
I mean, it was funny watching it election night. I think you were streaming election night. I did check out your stream on Discord a little bit. Did you have a few drinks that night, my guy?
Oh yeah. We Bullnox accounts were selling for like $15, so I bought. I'm also long to MYM right now, actually, because we broke that high. I moved my stop to break even. We'll see if we get break even or not, but just to MYM, just because we broke that high. It'll probably get break even. It's worth a shot if we want to run. But no, Bullnox accounts were selling for like $15 at the time, so I was already kind of drinking. I was like, fuck it, we'll hop on stream and we'll see if we can pass these 3 Bullnox accounts. And we blew up one. The first one we blew up like immediately. And then the next 2 we ended up getting past that night. So it was pretty fun because like everyone, we were just, like the markets were moving so much that night. It made for some pretty fun trading.
It was funny. Every time you saw a state flip red or projected winner was Donald Trump, you'd see this massive spike, and then it would kind of like settle down a little bit and pull back a little bit, and then another state would go red, and then there would be another pump. And as they kept going red, it was just pump.
It was pretty entertaining. Yeah, they tagged my break even, so that'll probably be all. That needed to break and run, and it's not really running, so we might range here for a bit.
Well, you know, we got NVIDIA earnings this week, so what is that? Wednesday, I think, is NVIDIA earnings after the bell. So we could range a little bit.
Yeah, I'm big not fan of NVIDIA. Not a huge fan.
I'm right there with you, brother. Most of my chat is as well. We don't like NVIDIA. Way overvalued.
Martin asked thoughts on the Bullinox rule changes. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really read that much into them, so I don't think I have a great. I think they added a 20% rule, like basically just a flipping rule. Or no, it wasn't a 20. They added a flipping rule, so like you can't just like if you're in your funded account, you can't just like take a trade for a tick and count that as a trading day. So. I mean, that's kind of annoying, for sure. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm weaning my way out of prop firms in general. Like I said, I just did the Bullinox just because, like I said, we were just having fun that night. But I don't know. I don't like necessarily the flipping rule. I think if you make money, that should be your money. And if they don't want you withdrawing that fast, they need to make evaluations tougher, right? Like once you're in a funded account, in my opinion, there really shouldn't be rules like that. Like there shouldn't be rules that kind of go against the trader. It's one of the reasons I also don't like the profit percent rules, because that really limits you on your good days. Like that keeps you from really expanding on your winning days. Like you're kind of capped at that, and then you'll not always let your losers be as big as you want. So that's kind of my bitch against the kind of updated prop firm rules that have been coming around. It's not like a huge fan. I know Top Step has been pretty aggressive about moving people to live, but their evals are also a little bit, like I said, they make you at least for 2 days, and they're a little bit more expensive, so they have a little bit less rule in the funded. So I guess that's kind of the price you pay for cheap funded accounts.
Yeah.
But personally, I find it super annoying.
I saw they're like forcing all their workers to get like Series 3s now as well.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily know what the benefit of the Series 3 is. I've looked into it a little bit, and for them, I don't know like what necessarily Series 3 does, unless they know something regulatory wise where maybe they are going to have that if they want to do like
that's what I'm thinking.
Top Step TV, you know, like maybe they're going to have a Series 3 to be able to say, you know, opinions and stuff, to be like have it like actually not be financial advice.
Yeah.
That would be kind of my only thoughts there.
Martin's saying you can be a futures broker with a Series 3. Oh, so they're all trying to get their brokerage licenses?
That would make sense. Well, I am still trying to get a little bit of pump action here, but I think I'm probably just going to chill and let things happen. Then nothing real delicious. I mean, like, there's a lot of room to the upside, but I don't know. Unless it's going to really be something super obvious, I don't think I want to participate. To be honest, especially like NQ is disgusting right now. It's not near. Yeah. I mean, NQ needs all the way down. I think you had the same too. We were talking like 20. I have a single all the way down at like 2360 is where the next single print is on NQ. And then to the upside, I mean, we left so much structure to the upside on NQ on Friday. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to go clean to the upside. It's just a matter of actually getting there.
I mean, I'd like to see 20,700 get traded at some point, but I just don't know when that's going to happen, or if it's even going to happen today.
Well, if we're going to get it, like I said, unless we do something real obvious, I think it's going to be one of those where we just go and you just got to be on the train, even without, you know, a clear
Yeah.
clear setup. Yeah. So
TBM suggested possible buyout or going full brokerage. For what? Top Step, Martin?
But I see, yeah, Apex was having that like next like denial waves or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get somewhat suspicious on those because like sometimes it's people that just straight up didn't follow the rules, and then like start making this whole big thing. It's even though like they just clearly didn't follow the rules. Because I mean, I would say most of the time that's the case, but I mean, as you guys know too, like I'm also no longer funded by Apex. They gave me option. So I went to go withdraw in like September, and they actually did deny. And I wasn't really withdraw. I had like 2,000 to 3,000 left in all my accounts. I've been withdrawing pretty aggressively out of them for a while, and I was just getting them kind of down. And I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and just like withdraw the rest of my money because they got with like the new 20% or 30% drawdown rule or whatever. And I was like, I just don't really want to deal with that. Which it's not like I was doing that anyway. I just didn't like the more rules they were doing.
Yep.
So I was gonna go ahead and like withdraw the rest of my money, and then they denied for DCA, which in my opinion I wasn't DCAing. Like on those accounts I would trade micros. So when I trade micros, I don't click the button once and I don't sell limit orders. I'll click buy or sell. Like if I want a long 7 micros, click the button 7 times, right?
Yeah.
But they were saying that's DCA, which I was like, I've done this for the last year and you guys have never docked me for that. And then like the following day after I got my denial email, they said, we're going to allow DCA again. I was like, then why'd you deny me? So that was annoying. So then after that, I was like, okay, now I'm definitely going to do everything I can to get all the money out of all my accounts. So I went and I did the rules, I followed their rules for another 10 days. And then because of how long I was in the approval stage and pending stage, and then from when I got my email to where I missed like 2 payout cycles. And then I had to do the 10 days of trading again, did everything by the rules, and then I got approved and I went to request to withdraw everything. And they sent me an email and they said, hey, we see you're wanting to withdraw everything and you've been with us for forever. We're going to give you the option. You can either go live, like we'll combine all of your accounts into one live account and you can go live. Or if you choose to withdraw these funds, you can no longer purchase evaluations from us.
No, they stop. Oh no.
So they kind of hit you with the ultimatum, but like that makes sense from their perspective of like, if you are a profitable trader, why would they want you in evaluations taking their money, right?
Right.
So like that makes sense. Surprised it took them so long before I got that email.
Yeah.
But yeah, once I went to go withdraw everything, they sent me that email and I said, no thanks, I'll just go ahead and take my money. Cause like their data fees when you go to a live account, it's like $135 a month or something for their data fees and whatnot. And I was like, I don't want to deal with extra data fees because I have my personal account, and then why would I take the profit split on a live account when I put all, like, they give you all the money you have anyway, and then you hit with extra fees and a percentage on top of that. Is like, why don't I just take the money and put it in my personal account? Like, in my opinion, there's just like no benefit to a live account. And this goes for like Upstep, any of them. There's no benefit to a live account, in my opinion, if you have to pay a data fee and pay the profit split. So I just went ahead and withdrew my money, and I can't be funded with Top Step, or not Top Step, but Apex anymore. But like I said, it's kind of end of an era. I kind of feel like it's like I won the game in a way.
Yeah, you definitely did. I mean, you want to be trading personal anyway, don't you? I mean,
like you want to, like, the goal is to trade personal. It's just like it was finally like that is the push over the edge that I guess that I needed to, full personal, which I still have a couple funded accounts with other companies. Like I never had all my eggs in basket.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll keep those just as, CPI days and stuff. But for the most part, just be sticking to trading personal, because really that's what I should be trading at this point. Anyway, I have plenty of capital in my personal account to be trading my personal account.
Khaled says only great traders get banned from Apex.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's their And like I said, I have nothing like against Apex. Like I wouldn't be where I am right now without them. Like, because I have my entire trading career and everything to like, I have to thank Apex because like literally without them, I'm not here right now.
Right.
As far as trading goes. So I am grateful to Apex. I know they've had their issues and stuff, but like as far as how they always treated me outside of like that one payout debacle, I always got paid out, never had issues. But you know, it's time to move on, especially with all the new regs coming up too. I'm not sure. I think the casino age of prop firms is coming to an end.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm sure it'll end up being, you won't see the 20 accounts copy trading thing anymore. You won't. They'll probably all go down to maybe 5. Others, what they're going to allow is what I'm guessing.
Imagine they'll go down in accounts, and if they don't go down in accounts, the evaluations are going to get harder. Like they won't have the 1 day to pass thing. Because I think the way they were talking, the way that regs have to be is a certain percentage of their profits have to be from actual live funded traders. So if they want to be classified as like a prop firm, so that was because like you look at Apex, it was for a while there, I would say probably 100% of their profits were from eval. So I think that's the big regulation change that has to come, is they have to have either that or a certain amount of their base has to be live fund traders. I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me perfectly on it, but
right.
That's at least what I see coming.
All right, if we can get down here to this 480, if we can sweep these lows, these overnight lows, and reclaim, I'm thinking about getting long because I think it's looking like a range type day for me.
And on YM, if we can break these highs, like we got this high up at like 43,600 from that overnight sell-off level, get above that, I would probably consider being long, like basically taking out of this range that we're in right here.
Yeah,
I'd be long all the way up to 43,800-ish, 820. We got that single print up there. That's where I would want to be long to. But we have to break out. It's like if we break out, then I'll consider it. But until then, I got will not be taking anything. I don't want to be long in the range.
I know. I now that you mentioned that, I'm looking at the NQ on a broader view, and that's right in the middle of the range where I was talking about getting long.
NQ is just it's starting to sell a little bit now, but it needs to move pretty aggressively one way or the other for me to really be interested in taking something.
Just after Friday, I don't know that we're gonna get that huge move. I would be shocked if we got a huge down move again, but it is NQ.
I would be shocked on NQ if we got below 4360. You said you had 4350, which is the same. I mean, I guess we could get down, or I'm sorry, I'm looking at YM. 2050.
Yeah.
And then on, I guess on NQ, the start of that breakout, the Trump buy up was 2171. Got a set of singles down there. So if we were to sell down to that, I was shocked if we broke below that, because that would just be, I would be gnarly to buy up that much. Like that was a historical buy up, right? Like the size of those, especially on the Dow. On the Dow, that was a historical daily green candle. To just reverse that whole thing and then sell off even lower, that would be insane. But we got a ways to go on YM before we would actually get there. So I guess a little bit more room. NQ is just, that is such a pump and dump shit coin.
Yeah,
I swear.
That's all it is. It's the NQ, brother.
Yeah.
Good morning, Nimkins. I see you. I'm sorry. Goose and I are kind of chatting right now. Sorry, chat, if you feel ignored.
He says he thinks FTT effed it for everyone. I think so, probably. The regs were coming before FTT, but now I think that the whole FTT rug pull happened.
Featuring my taskbar? Oh, here, I got you. Sorry, my cropping skills are not great, huh? Let's fix this. It's actually Goose's taskbar. Good call,
56 degrees, cloudy, so which is a lie. It is 56 degrees and soon. Yeah, I guess technically there are clouds, but
There we go.
they're really
All
wet
right.
clouds right
All
now.
right. We aren't viewing your weather anymore. That's funny. Yeah, Mason, you're freaking out. I got you. Why didn't you say anything, Mason?
It just needs to spam chat. That's what I would do. Um, but no, how often do you do swing trading at all? Have you
On my
dabbled a
on
whole
my
lot?
personal, yes.
Yeah.
I do, but it's got to be like an obvious setup in order for me to take it, and it's normally I'm holding for like a month's time.
Well, in that case, let's talk about some swing trading because the market's obviously not doing anything. We've been talking about this in my chat quite a bit recently. Because Kate's been trading a lot of wheat and getting into wheat, and I've been telling him how I trade wheat.
Holy,
And
look at those spikes on that.
so if you've noticed commodity, so the difference between like NQ, ES, YM, those are growth stocks, right? They're indexes that you combine a bunch of stocks and they are designed to go up, right? If they're not going up, we saw in YM 2 weeks ago, if something inside YM is no longer going to be a growth stock, they will change it to something that growth stock, i.e. they took out Intel and put in NVIDIA because NVIDIA is now the leading chip maker and Intel is going to have a couple of bad quarters and could potentially end up getting bought out by NVIDIA at this rate, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So they took out Intel because it's, like I said, it's going to be bad. It's not going to be attributing to the growth of YM, and they will change these to ensure that in the long run they will go up. Now, as you can see, NQ is a shit coin, and it'll go up and down pretty violently. But when you look at, the early chart overall, it goes up, and that's the case for those, which makes them, in my opinion, almost, unless you're playing like low leverage long-term gains, it makes them a little difficult to trade, especially, or makes them a little bit more difficult to trade because there's so many different intraday movements. Whereas like the commodities are so much more fun because they're legitimately supply and demand based. Like, think about it like wheat or like even lean hogs. Like, I can pull up a lean hog chart here as well. I think we talked about lean hogs a little bit last time too. You're only going to pay so much for a pork chop, right? Before you're like, all right, I'm not going to buy a pork chop right now. Yep. And that's exactly the case. And you'll kind of notice the trend with all of these as well. The bottom line for what people buy, like you can literally see inflation as the bottom line, which I think is kind of cool that you can see that. But you'll only pay like the middle of this, two yellow lines, like this is the amount people are usually willing to buy pork chop for, or bacon, or whatever. And then of course you'll have world events that affect prices and make it spike one way or the other. You'll have swine flu, like 2014 we had a big swine flu situation. So you had a massive shortage of hogs, and then you have COVID. Different, like swine flu happens every once in a while. Or you'll get an oversupply of hogs and all of a sudden prices will dip way too much. And this goes into global markets as well. You'll want to see like India is a massive producer of, not India, but the US is a massive producer of hogs. So like if there's any sort of situations that happens with the supply, you'll get these big moves one way or the other. And same thing, like with, COVID, all sorts of stuff, you'll have these big moves outside of generally accepted range, and that usually proves for some amazing swing opportunities back to the middle of the range. Like, I don't play the breakouts necessarily. I'll wait until we start breaking down again or start showing signs of like, hey, maybe we've peaked, and then I'll start shorting back towards the middle or longing back towards the middle. It really provides a really easy, in my opinion, swing trade because we will go back to that generally accepted price. Like,
just a lot of
like I said, people will only pay.
plays.
Yeah, that's all these commodities are, because it is just, in all terms, like it is just supply and demand. Like,
right,
if supply gets too high, and then you just play it back to the range. Demand gets too high, just play it back to the range. It's all just a very generally accepted price, which in my opinion makes it way easier to trade. You just have to have an account big enough to either deal with drawdowns or hold overnight, because if you want to hold any contract on lean hogs overnight, you got to have enough money to do it. And I mean, you'll take some hits. Like this is a monthly chart. When lean hogs got really high in 2014, you're gonna take some hits. And like my favorite strategy on these is like, so let's say we spike it up, and I did this on wheat, so I'll pull wheat back up. I did this on wheat because the Ukraine war happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ukraine is the largest exporter of wheat in the world. So that there was going to be a massive decrease in supply, and it would take a while for when prices spike like this, right? We're eventually going to get that reversion. And what happens is farmers will plant whatever crop is the best value for them, right? So what happens is Ukraine war starts, all of a sudden the demand for wheat, or the supply of wheat, goes way down. So prices go way up because there's very little supply, right?
Yep.
Now, what I did is I waited for the rest of the global market. Like every farmer and their dog at these prices, they're going to be planting wheat because I mean, they would be stupid not to plant wheat at those prices if they were already had wheat, right? Because they're going to get so much for it, right? So everyone's going to start planting wheat, and that supply is going to catch up with demand. Once supply starts catching up with demand, we start getting these spikes to the upside. Took a few hits here. Mm-hmm. I start just shorting opening range every morning when, wheat would open. If it would break below opening range, I would short and then immediately move my stop to break even. And I took a few stops on this, and I took a few break evens before it finally went. But then eventually one day you're going to short opening range. It's never going to come back. And finally we got one short on opening range and it never came back. I ended up taking profit around, so like this yellow line here, I took profit at this yellow line, or at least when we got close to it on my wheat short. Ended up, and if you can go back on my YouTube channel, I talked about the long that I took here for a long scalp. I was able to get my runner off, and then because I thought we were going to spike again, based on the stuff that was going on with global markets and stuff, but we ended up not spiking, so my runner ended up getting break even. But I did catch the original short onto that yellow line, and that was just shorting opening range every single morning until finally it never came back again. And then you can do that with basically any commodity. It's all going to be the same. Like if you look at corn, even corn has the same type of range, and it's going to do the same things. Like you're going to have a generally accepted price for corn, and then the supply and demand is going to change based on that supply and demand. And I mean, when prices of corn get way down, farmers are going to stop planting corn because it's not profitable for farms to farm corn in 2000, right? It's not profitable for farmers to farm corn at $200, right? That's makes no sense for them. So they stop planting corn, they do a different crop. All of a sudden the supply is too low, price of corn goes up, vice versa. All of a sudden everyone's planting corn, and then it'll come back to this mean. And these commodities are just like the most perfect swing trade plays for mean reversions. Also, he was
fairly stress-free trading.
It is, because where price is going. You just have to be ready. Like you just have to have an account that, for one, can handle any drawdowns, or so you can hold overnight. Because the big thing about these trades is like you have to hold overnight, because it's going to take, like, this is a monthly chart, right? It's going to take months for this trade to play out. It's not like NQ where it's going to do that in a day.
Yeah.
So you're going to be holding a trade for months, but if you have an account big enough, you can have the leverage size, and you can hold that overnight for weeks and weeks at a time.
By the way, right now,
I could definitely see that right now, because it is starting to try to rip out of this range. Hopefully it breaks the range to the upside, and that drags YM up as well. But no, like these commodity plays, you just have to be able to hold them for a long time. But if you have the right leverage, like it only take you, if you play just lean hogs, wheat, and corn, and like there's a few other commodities you can play as well. Like natural gas is one that I like a lot. And crude oil, I don't like crude oil as much because it's so much more like every other day someone in the Middle East is getting bombed, so it really affects the price of crude oil, right? It's affected too much where I don't like crude oil as much. But other commodities like wheat, corn, lean hogs, cattle, like there's so many other better options to trade that are so stress-free compared to NASDAQ and ES and YM. It's, if you have, like I said, you need a personal account and the leverage to do it, but it makes trading so much easier on that aspect.
Seems like just stress-free, not this whipsaw action that we get on the indexes.
Yeah, I mean, just the moves make sense. Like there's a genuine reason for every move. And in my opinion, the reason it's easier is there's no algorithms, right? Like ES, NQ, YM, they have algos trading them, right? Whereas wheat, those are real people trading wheat. Some algorithm in New York doesn't have a reason to trade wheat because one, the liquidity is too low, it doesn't move enough, and then two, what is a firm in New York gonna do wheat? You know, whereas NQ, like every 401k in the United States has the S&P 500 in it, right? So every firm everywhere has algorithms that are buying and selling the S&P 500 for these 401ks and retirement accounts. Bonds trading as well. I don't do any bonds trading. You'd have to Donna for that because she's the bonds expert. I have not dabbled at all in trading bonds. That is not my expertise at all. The only reason I know wheat and some of these commodities really good is I grew in Western Kansas. My family were farmers.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad were often doing wheat contracts, wheat futures contracts, but they were the actual like writers like of these contracts. They were selling the wheat that are in these contracts or buying, you know, the wheat in these contracts for, you know, planting wheat season. So they were actually doing the delivering and the accepting of these futures contracts. So, I mean, that's what most farmers out in like these, you know, states do, is they actually do trade wheat futures or corn futures because that is their supply. Like they need that wheat or they need to sell wheat.
Here, I'll flip over to my chart so they can see where my entry and everything is right now.
Yeah, pull that thing up. You got to be doing good right now. This thing is really taking off.
I'm up about $900 right now on the trade.
Almost making up for the Friday loss, right?
Well, I made a little over 500 last night on that rip a little bit. I should have held all night. I would have made a lot of money, but so with this trade, I'll be right back. Right. Oh, I would have made back everything almost.
Yeah, so that's not too bad. And see, that's the nice thing about man losses, right? Like you're able to make it back.
Yeah.
One two good trades this day.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not comfortable losing 1.6K on any day, but yeah.
Yeah.
If your account's enough to stomach it, I guess it makes sense.
Well, my thing is like always make sure you like have a calendar, right? Like have a big calendar on your wall.
Mm-hmm.
And every day that you trade, or like, you know, use TradeViz or something, every day you trade, write down what the P&L was, whether it was positive or negative. And you can start to see that trend. And then you see that trend and you see like, what I always do is like, I look at my average size win day. And then whatever my average size winning day is, you just make sure your losing day is half of that, at least like at maximum half of that. And then all of a sudden you don't have these account blow up days because your winning days will always make up for a losing day. As long, you'd have to look at your win percentage as well, you know?
Yeah.
You know, as long as one losing day isn't wiping out weeks or months of gains, generally you're going to be okay.
All right, I need to think about either killing this or holding at this point because it's starting to stall out a little bit. I want to see a continued push. I want to see ES actually is what I'm watching right here, not necessarily the NQ back into that 59.14, 59.15, but it needs to accelerate here for me above 5,900.
Yeah, ES is, even on the options chain, ES is locked in a pretty tight range right now. So it's going to take a little bit of, it's going to take big volume one way or the other to break us. But once we break, I think we could run. But it's going to take.
I got someone telling me to kill it. I got another person telling me to hold.
Yeah, like I say, it's going to take big volume in one direction, break us out of this little tight range that we got, but on ES at least. But once it breaks, I think it can run, if it can break.
Do you do that? Do you use ES as an indicator for NASDAQ? Because I find myself doing it a lot.
Not necessarily. I mean, they will often trend together, right? But that can also get you in a lot of trouble because of those days that they don't trend together. Actually,
Yeah,
like YM is, well, was. Now that we have NVIDIA and M, I don't know. You can tell I'm not excited about it. But I generally don't like using both to look at one or the other, but I mean, generally the S&P 500 does lead the NASDAQ. But I don't know. I don't use them both together too often, but if the ES is breaking out really hard, generally that's going to drag the NAS up with it. Same thing with like the big options levels. Like I'll keep an eye on those. And you know, if the ES is coming up to a massive options level, I might be a little bit cautious on an NQ trade, but it depends like how close I'm watching it too, because with NQ, I mean, it doesn't always respect a level. So it'll sometimes do just whatever the heck it wants.
All right, I'm gonna pull my stop up to just below 560 at this point. I don't want to see anything below 560. And now I've locked in $500, so we're hands off at this point. See if I can get this run up towards overnight highs. So yeah. I find myself looking at those ES levels when I'm in an NQ trade for some reason, and vice versa, really.
Like I said, they will correlate. Like one will drag the other often pretty aggressively, especially like I said, if ES starts like dumping violently, people will look at Q and be like, oh, I should probably sell in Q, right? So it's not a bad strategy that a lot of people have. I don't do it too much. I don't want too much into it, but I do keep an eye on it.
All right. Well, now that you all see my targets and everything, we will go back to Goose's chart so he can talk about his wheat swing trading once again.
I don't have anything. I mean, as far as like wheat goes right now, I mean, we're basically at the end of wheat. We're basically at the end. Like we're the end of this big short, right? Like anyone that had runners is basically taking off all their runners. You can tell that inflation on the bottom dollar of wheat has kind of gotten a little bit more aggressive over the last few years.
Is it a continuous uptrend though because of inflation? Like, is that why that chart? Okay.
Yeah, it'll always be a continuous uptrend with inflation because, I mean, there's always be a bottom dollar of supply and demand, right? So like there has to be like that bot has to come up in based on supply and demand. Like I said, farmers will just stop planting wheat at a certain point because it is completely uneconomical for anyone to plant wheat at a certain price, and that's what's going to raise as the price of, you know, the biggest factor is fuel. Like as the price of fuel goes up, it just doesn't make sense to sell wheat. The price of equipment, everything, all those prices it costs to harvest wheat and plant, those will continue to go up. So the bottom dollar to plant wheat will always go up because the demand for wheat as the population of the world grows will always go up because everyone wants bread, you know, like flour is used in like everything. So the demand will just always continue to go up as well as the population grows, no matter what the keto diet says.
Do you diet I know I saw you like we're at Buffalo Wild Wings a couple weeks ago and talking about the honey barbecue sauce, but I was wondering, do you actually stick to a diet? Because I've never really dieted in my life. I just kind of eat what I want and work out, you know.
So I've raced motocross my whole life, right? So like I have a specific like race weight I try to stay at. But
Okay.
and especially when I'm doing like national stuff, I race the smaller CC class. So weight makes a big difference. Like every 10
Right.
pounds is basically horsepower, right? And that makes a big difference at the smaller horsepower classes. So right, like my average like resting weight is around like 165, 170. But if I like really want to get down to like race weight, like if I'm doing like nationals and stuff, if I really want to get down to that race weight, I'll diet real hard and go in a really like calorie deficit diet and then maybe do keto as well. Just down to like that 155 area.
Hmm.
So it sheds about 20 pounds. But the problem is when you shed that 20 pounds, and you get really thin, you're
Yeah.
way more susceptible to like getting sick and stuff. So unless I'm really at like, unless I'm really doing like national stuff, like I don't diet too hard, but I'm also really active, right? Like if it's daylight and a nice day out, like I'm out riding my bike or running or something outside. Like
Right.
I'm very, very active. So like I can generally have a pretty shit diet and burn it off. Um, Eventually that will catch up to me. But as for right now, I just have a very active lifestyle. So
D-
I can kind of get away with.
DJP, will that catch up to him in the future? Let me know.
Yeah, like I said, I do work out and run and ride bikes like all of it. So I'm generally burning those calories pretty well. NQ's starting to run a little bit. I'm
Yeah, I'm
wanting
sure.
it to drag YM up. The YM isn't wanting to do anything today. What's Nvidia doing?
I am chilling in my long right now. Chilling.
Oh wow, Nvidia down 2%. Great. Everything else is great, but fucking Nvidia, like look at this garbage. Sure, I'm glad we brought that into fucking YM. I
Oh,
hate
man.
Nvidia. Why? The fact that they made it weighted so heavily
I
in
know.
YM, whoever decided that is the stupidest human being in like there are some stupid people when it comes to the stock market, but whoever did that is by far the stupidest human being on the planet. Like, why would you ever do that to a meme stock on the Dow? Like, I could rant for days on how much that pisses me off. And everything else looks pretty decent. As far as NQ go, outside of Nvidia, made us down a little bit. Tesla
Yeah, I
up,
mean, I'm almost,
and
it's
Jesus
almost to my
Christ.
target. I'm about
So
20
yeah,
points away from my target right now.
NQ is definitely trying to rip. NQ, if it can get up to 2680, that'd be the next breakout level. Maybe retrace all of Friday. That'd be cool.
I'm looking for 634.50 is what I'm looking for. I just want the middle of that. I'm trying to take a safe exit here because I have a feeling the reversal is going to be nasty when it does happen and violent.
Yeah, and YM needs to break out, but I don't know. With Nvidia in there now, it might just be garbage.
Almost
But
there.
I'm
Just
flat on YM until we actually break out. I would like it to break out and then maybe
so
get
you're
on
what?
board.
Just
But
one break even today?
yeah, just one break on like 2 MYM. So I'm gonna pay maybe $2 in commissions. So I'm right on the dash. How is your what month are we in? November. How has your November been so far?
My November's actually been pretty good.
Has it?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Trump pump. I really didn't trade election night. Well, I was watching your stream election night. I watched a little bit of Trades by Matt's stream. He was doing a little drinky too.
Our stream on election night was a fun night.
Yeah,
That was the trading possible.
there was a lot of people in there. I was actually surprised. I would have chimed
I
in.
mean,
I would have chimed in, but I was like, I don't want to like interrupt Goose's little powwow he's got going on here.
I always feel we're all just degens, right? Like we have nothing special going on.
Dave has gone to the intermittent fasting route. Dave, how's that working out for you? I see you say it works well, but I need statistics.
We need to see the scale.
Yeah, I need stats.
I've done the intermittent fasting, and like the biggest thing for me is just skip breakfast, and then I'll eat. If I do eat, it's not till like 3 or 4. The problem is I just get hungry. Like I hate being hungry.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking just skipping breakfast, I do that on a daily basis. So I guess I intermittent fast every day, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're skipping breakfast and go more than 12 hours without eating, that's intermittent fasting. So, some people go even longer, just eat one meal. The problem I also had with intermittent fasting is like, I would skip all those meals and then, I would just make it up when I ate dinner. Like I'd be so hungry, be like, I didn't eat all day, I'm starving.
Yeah.
You just make that up. So with me, I kind of just like snack all day. I don't eat like, if I do eat like for breakfast, I might eat like a little like, I like these nut bars that are just nuts with like peanut butter, which is more nuts. Might eat like one of those, like 11. And then for lunch, maybe I'll eat a sandwich or like wrap or something, or Buffalo Wild Wings. And then for dinner, we'll have steak or something for dinner.
Love yourself some B-dubs, huh?
I do appreciate a good set. B-dubs is so hit and miss. Luckily, the B-dubs where I live is a good one, but like you could go to the next town over and get B-dubs, and it'd just be the worst dining experience of your entire life. Like it's the most hit and miss restaurant thing. Next to Sonic. Sonic is probably the #1 hit and miss restaurant that exists. And then number 2 might be Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, but you can have like servers come out on roller skates and deliver your food, right?
See, that's how you know you're at a good Sonic. But then some Sonic you go to, you might get like a burger that they forgot to cook. Like they just threw the frozen patty on the bun. Yeah. Or they'll like miss half your order. Like it makes me so. I love Sonic. Like if it's a good Sonic, I love Sonic because I'm a big fan of their cheddar buns and the crispy chicken sandwich with Texas toast instead of the bun. But yeah, sometimes I'll go to a Sonic and I'll just be like, this is the worst experience of my entire life, and I never want to go to Sonic again. Which I will go to Sonic again, just not that one.
What did I always get at Sonic? I would always get like just a shake when I went to Sonic. I never really ate their food a whole lot.
Shakes have so much sugar in them.
I know. Well, it was when I was younger. It was when I was younger, obviously. I haven't had a good shake in a while. I would always get their, actually, I would get their banana chocolate peanut butter milkshake.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, so that might also be one of the reasons I don't have too much of a problem kind of eating the way I do, because I don't eat sugar too much outside of like, obviously, if it's in the sauce of like the honey barbecue wings. Like, I don't do very much sugar like at all. If I eat a lot of sugar, it just makes me like tired like the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So just like I said, I avoid that. So that also kind of helps like as far as like the weight thing goes too.
Is IB set yet? No, we still got 10 minutes.
IB has
Decoy. Yeah, you got your TED talk.
Decoy is a unit. That dude is like, you see that dude in the weight room, like he is a big dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like a big like gym buff. Like he is an absolute unit. I would, if he's like basically my personal trainer. Like if I have questions about like fitness or something, I'm him.
Oh, nice.
He's got anything you need to know. He knows or has done it. And then he's also like, you look at him, he's like, oh yeah, this guy definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to working out, because you can see that
he's jacked.
He's a big unit.
Yeah. Goose, do you watch NFL football at all?
I'll watch, like if I got friends over or something, maybe throw on a game. Okay. Like a lot of my friends are K-State fans, so we'll watch a lot of college football. But like I know all the teams, I know everyone. I just don't watch it that much.
I gotcha.
I watch the Super Bowl every year though.
I think college ball is a better watch than the NFL most of the time, just because it's so sporadic and it's young kids running around making lots of mistakes, and more scoring, more high scoring, generally.
Yeah.
I would agree. NFL, my team is the Detroit Lions, and they have been crap forever.
Yeah.
Crap forever. And well, we are actually really, really good finally.
Really? So you're finally having your swing?
Yeah, brother. After a lifetime of misery, we are finally probably the best team in the NFL.
Oh, that's good. So I always feel happy for people like that. So I grew up in Kansas, right? So obviously all of my friends are like
Chiefs
big
fans.
Chiefs fans.
Yeah.
Right? And the Chiefs were like the worst team for at least my entire life up to a couple years ago, right? Like the Chiefs were just like they couldn't make a playoff game, like it was bad, and all my like diehard Chiefs fans friends were just be like sad all the time, like we can't even win a game, right? And then all of a sudden the Chiefs like go from being the worst team to all of a sudden like they're making super appearances, they're doing good, like they're winning games, and I'm just like I'm so happy for my friends who are diehard Chiefs fans, because like after literally their entire life of having a team that sucked, like they have something to cheer for finally.
Yeah. So they've won 3 out of the last 5 Super Bowls, I think.
I think so. Like it's getting suspicious at this point, right? Like, yeah, I'm completely neutral. Like I don't care enough. I'm neutral on the subject, but yeah, the whole Taylor Swift thing, like no, maybe it's getting suspicious.
Well, the NFL's got to keep their moneymaker intact. Like it is about money at the end of the day. If you ever watch like the NFL spreads from the Vegas bookies and how accurate they are, it really is sickening. Really sickening how good they are at picking those spreads.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost suspicious how good they are, right?
Yeah, it's extremely suspicious. And then you watch the games and you're looking at the spread towards the end of the game, and then you'll see the ref throw this really bogus flag out there to pull. Yeah. And it's like, wait a second, what's going on here? Did Vegas call down to the sidelines and go, hey, we need something here?
Yeah, that's once sports betting gets involved and becomes legal, like everything becomes almost seems a little bit more manufactured.
Yeah, Nimkins, I know the Lions were 13-point favorites this weekend. However, that's an absurd spread for the NFL. Usually you're looking at like less than 3.5 points on spreads on the NFL games. Sorry, Nimkins has been making tons of money on my Lions every week.
And in the worst way possible.
He has been putting his dirty money on my Lions too frequently. I don't like it.
Somehow you got to counter the futures losses somehow, right?
Yeah. Actually, he's done all right. I mean, he's done all right.
I'm just giving him shit.
Ethan, no, I didn't watch the fight. I didn't want to watch a 60-year-old man get his butt whooped by a 27-year-old.
Oh, that shit was bad. It wasn't. That was the biggest scam in probably history there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, biggest money grab you could possibly have out there. We are about 7 points away from my target.
Nice. Are you still?
Yeah, it's on the stream. You can see it. It's It's about to hit.
Well, fantastic trade there, big dog.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. I just saw this high volume on the profile here, and we got back above it. So as soon as we got back above it and we're holding above it, that's when I hit long. Where's this high volume at? Basically at 530. So my long is from 533. And then I'm just kind of front running overnight highs. It'll be about a $2,000 trade if it hits.
I don't know. Like I said, that makes up for your Friday too, right? And then like that shit never even happened.
Yep. Just need one more little surge here, and I'm good to go. The only thing I don't like is IB is still it's still not set.
Yeah, we still got 3 minutes till IB. So, I mean, we could just go ahead and break out and run all the way and like recover on Friday. I mean, it's within the realm of NASDAQ to do shit like that. So,
well, I think 20,700 gets traded again. What was that? 1 point away from my take profit? Don't you dare do this nonsense.
I think you'll be okay.
I'm out.
Yeah, good trade. Fantastic trade.
Thanks, brother.
Big clap in the chat.
Thanks,
Come on, guys.
Yeah, that was a $2,050 trade.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
that is beautiful.
Yeah, that felt good. Thanks for coming on today, Goose. You're my lucky charm.
Yeah, that was a fantastic trade. I didn't take any of it, but like I said, it's gonna be one of those trades where like it's just gonna take off and you're gonna need to get in, be on the train or off the train. And I chose off, but I'm glad I chose on because that went ahead and really took off.
Yeah, it was well, we were talking all morning, like we're expecting range. So I was waiting for it to kind of bottom out down there in around 500 or whatever, right before overnight lows, which are at, what are they at, 476. So when I saw that reversal and reclaim above that first high volume node that sticks out on the profile, that's when I tapped it. And then I was
that ended up being a beautiful trade.
Yep, and then that entire distribution, you just play the top side of that distribution before you start seeing the low volume areas step in, and it's a fairly easy trade, I think.
Yeah, that ended up being very beautiful. Now, if only Nvidia would stop being a shitcoin and actually.
All right, Goose, I'm gonna go on a little bathroom break here, my usual 10 a.m. bathroom break. I'll let you stream take over.
All right, we're gonna talk so much shit while you're gone.
All right, feel free, brother. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, so how are we doing? How's everyone in chat doing today? Anyone green, red, liquidated, emancipated, constipated? I have yet to do anything of substance yet today. Like we talked about earlier, I might not do anything of substance today. Especially if YM isn't going to really move. I did not catch that. In Q long, it got nowhere near where I wanted to play, so I didn't get nothing. Good morning, Brian. Glad to see you here. Kate is up 230, trading YM. Hell yeah, bro. Did you take the short, I'm assuming? And then Sanders was down 350, now green on the day. We do love a fantastic comeback story. Real Kardashian situation. Tyler, 30-minute doji on YM. I do see that. It's kind of, I don't know. YM needs to like take off, right? It's starting to try to. And say if we can break over those highs, maybe I'll jump on something. Maybe I'll just chill out the day and let something happen. We've had a great month so far. Like, I'm not in any hurry to take any trades whatsoever if it's not like a total A+ setup. Brian is interested in Q short above 657 if he can get positioned. Yeah, I see that we got single prints here at like 678 on NQ, so I could definitely see that wicking and maybe coming back down. But also, I mean, that volume gap goes all the way back up to 23 or 29.39ish from when that sell-off started on Friday. So I mean, I could totally see us just recovering all of it if NQ really wants to. But no, I took the first week of November like as retirement / just taking like a vacation. Ended up trading like every day of that first week, but I was on like my personal account on phone taking some trades, and ended up being like a really good week. I caught a couple like really good runners that I didn't really expect to catch. But I was putting on trades and just like setting break evens, and then they just ran, right? So this week ended up being really good. Last week ended up being phenomenal. We talked about it in my chat a little bit of just how I was planning this whole like short situation and what like the trade plan was and trying to catch the short and the Sunday night gap and how I was playing that. And last week ended up just being like an incredible week. So I've kind of already beat my what was last month, September. So I've beat September already November and we've only had like 2 weeks. So I'm really just not any rush to get in any big trades. But it really like wasn't like I wasn't really trying to push like leverage or anything. I just caught some really good runs and everything worked out how we wanted to. And yeah, just like I said, I wasn't really pushing to try to beat September's PM, but like I said, we just caught some really good runners and everything worked out kind of how we want to. Good trade opportunities.
What are we talking about, Goose?
Oh, we're just talking about how everyone's day is going so far, our Novembers and Septembers.
Jeez, I should have held. Holy cow.
Yeah, it is absolutely on a tear right now.
I did expect this 20,700 to get traded again. In all fairness, I probably should have just targeted up higher.
Yeah, you said to get targeted or get hit, but also at the same time, I don't know. I never catch 100% of the move. I target 100 move and try to catch 25% of it. Right? That ensures you always get your take off. So,
I'm looking at the ES is at that 59.15 area right now. This is a possible stall out area for me on ES. 20,700 is possible stall out area on NQ for me. So I'm probably going to be sitting on hands here and wait for the market to tell me what to do next.
Yeah, with the strength of NQ right now, I wouldn't be surprised if it caught a little bit of a continuation, but also with it also being that first hour in, like this is the area where it needs to decide if it's going to continue to the upside or rotate and be a range.
Are you on YM right now? Is that what you're watching?
I'm watching both NQ and YM.
Okay.
I'm waiting to see if YM wants to break above opening range. If it does, maybe we target some longs up to 43, 853-ish. Okay. If not, like I said, like we were talking about, I really don't got, I'm not interested in taking a B plus setup unless I really have to.
So you want it above 580, I'm guessing?
550-ish. Yeah, if we can break it 550-ish with some momentum, maybe I get in a trade. I do got like one MYM long on right now, but it's just like a swing situation. It's not like a real.
Yeah.
Not a real. We're not in leverage or anything. It's just one MYM, and that's just more of a swing situation. If it wants to go ahead and rebid back up to Friday highs.
Okay. Yeah, the one thing I do like about the YM, I have been watching it a little bit more since you mentioned, hey, you know, the NASDAQ little 40, 50 point wicks kind of screw you a lot. I do like that it does swing a little bit more. Like when buyers are in control, they're in control for a little bit longer and it's a little slower. Same thing with the sell side. It's not as violent.
The daily range is usually a lot more consistent as well. You know, like you don't just have a spur outside of the whole like the Trump election situation. Mm-hmm. You usually don't have like crazy huge days out of nowhere. Like usually they make a little bit more sense. That could change with Nvidia. Nvidia is trying to buy up a little bit though. It's gone from -2% to -1%. So if Nvidia can flip green today, maybe YM will end up taking off, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect with earnings this week. I mean, what are you thinking? You thinking sell off? Nvidia's
gonna have good earnings. So I would expect them, like that's one of the things with my little swing here on YM is I would expect YM to have earnings, so people would want to buy into that, and it would be a massive surprise if they had bad earnings. Like everything that you read on Nvidia from what they've been doing, like the reason Nvidia got moved to YM, and that's because they're doing well. I mean, they're the absolute leader right now. So I just don't see a reason for them to have horrible earnings. Worst scenario, maybe they just hit expected or maybe just a little bit lower above. Like I would consider like hitting all of marks on the money would almost be a bad earnings for Nvidia this quarter, but at the same time, you never necessarily know how the market is pricing that in either.
Yeah, I just wonder. Like, obviously, we had a huge correction on Friday. Huge correction from the Trump up. I mean, we, like you said, we retraced the whole move pretty much on every index, I think. Even the Russell pulled back. So we're right back to where we were virtually the whole month of October. Right back in that same range. Now, the question is do we continue to sell off from there? Or do we go into the Santa Claus rally mode and just slow grind back up into those all-time highs?
Yeah, that is a good question. And I don't really know like I said, this correction was so big, I don't necessarily know the answer.
I don't know the answer either. Like, typically I would say yes. I would say expect like middle, like for the next week or two, sell off into the beginning of December, end of November, after Thanksgiving and all that. But because that's typically what you see seasonally. But it's so violent right now that I don't know what the answer is. Like, I don't know if we're too far overextended to the top side.
I mean, we were definitely too far overextended to the top side on YM for a bit there, but we've corrected back to the middle of, like, as far as my Celts go and everything, we've corrected back to the mean, right? So we aren't overextended anymore, and maybe now we range. It's a big decision of, like, do we need to correct a little bit more? But I don't necessarily have I wouldn't have a well-defined answer, honestly.
So I guess what we do is we just play the extremes of the range until proven otherwise.
Pretty much, yeah, I would agree with that, and then maybe hold a runner to see if we get a range break, right? Yeah. That's going to be the big thing, but I really have no, like I said, as far as today, Monday goes, I have zero bias whatsoever. I'm more like waiting to see, like, if Tuesday breaks Monday's high or low, then that'll be my new bias, right? So, like, if tomorrow, Tuesday, breaks today's high of day, then my bias will to the upside. Or vice versa. If Tuesday breaks Monday's low, then my bias will be to the downside as long as we do not break Monday's high, right? I kind of use my bias on the week depending on what side of Monday we're on. If we're to the upside of Monday, I play long side. If we're to the downside of Monday, I play the short side. Now, as far as, like,
are you in the mindset, like, I've heard it somewhere, like some people say that, you know, a huge percentage of the time either the high or low of the week is set on Monday and the high or low of the week is set on Friday. Do you find that to be accurate?
There's statistics on that, actually. Let me pull that up. I have all of those statistics.
You are the stats guy. You are the stats guy.
I am the stat.
Albu says NQ small dip to fair value at 14K. I don't know if we're gonna see 14K, Albu.
Well,
at least not.
we have an untested POC from, like, 1928 on NQ. I can see us getting down there. There's my stats page. Scroll up to NYM. I just need to find it.
Are these on your Discord? Are these posted on your Discord? I'm seeing it.
Yes, I have a stats page in my Discord that anyone can go up to. So right here's the fantastic stats of most of the time. Your high of the week is going to be on Monday or Friday, right? And it's of course going to be on Friday % of the time because it's an like IM is a growth stock, right? Yeah. So if we have a red week, the chances are pretty high that your if we're going to have a red week, I think I have another stat on. Yeah, YM lowest of the week. So if we're going to have a red week, your highest chances are it's going to be on Monday or on Friday for your low of the week. And then same thing with YM high of the week. It's either going to be on Monday or Friday, which basically tells you that the week is going to be a trend and the end of the trend is most of the time going to be on Friday. That's kind of just what these stats tell us right here. And so that's kind of the way I play it, at least, is just Monday is usually the start of a trend, but you also have to have context as well. If you've been trading in a range for weeks at a time, then chances are it's not going to be a true week. until it is a trend week, right? Like, so a big part of my YM short last week was I expected it to be a trend week, but we were so incredibly overextended. I was like, there's no way Friday ends up higher than where we are right now. We're going to have to sell to the downside. I didn't expect Monday to be the low of the week, so I was just playing to the short side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like that was a big portion of my bias for the short last week. And then I was just more or less looking for a reason to stay in that short.
Okay. Cade, so would you pick a weekly bias based on the Monday?
So for me, yes, I pick my weekly bias based on if Tuesday breaks Monday's high or low. Then once we break Monday's high or low, that bias is true until the opposite side of Monday is broken. If the opposite side, so if we break Monday high and then also break Monday's low, then that whole side is off and I do no longer have a bias. But as long as Monday low holds, I am playing to the long side. As long as Monday high holds, I'm playing to the short side.
That's interesting. I've never really looked at that because, well, you know, prop firm trading, you're just trading intraday short scalps
so
anyway.
For prop firms, it makes it a little bit more difficult because, I mean, if you're just looking for a 10-point scalp in Q, you don't want to be looking at weekly statistics, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That plays no favors. But for me, I do a lot more swing trading type stuff, so I pay a little bit more attention to like the longer time frame statistics. So that's just some of the stuff, like I said, you pay a little bit of attention to based on the time frame that you trade.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to look at, you know, even like a weekly chart when you're prop firm trading. It just doesn't make any sense unless you're just trying to determine overall trend. You know, I just don't see any value if you're only looking for intraday scalps.
Yeah, I agree. Now YM is finally starting to break out. So here's our question. Do we want to take long? I think the answer is yes.
I would say yes. I mean, you still got overnight highs a little bit higher.
I don't think I'm going to take it yet, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. I still have, like, I have an MYM long right now from 510-ish, just the bottom of that little consolidation zone. I have that going right now.
I don't mind a 540, 542 long.
But I say that's just MYM. I'm not holding anything of size right now. But I'll look to hold this MYM to back to high of last week if it runs, right? If it wants to run. If not, like I said, stops move to break even. So basically, if we break back below right now, if we break back below opening range, I will get break even on my MYM long. If not, we'll go ahead and we'll accept any turbo bids that want to come up.
yeah, you will. I like it. I think it looks prime for a breakout to the top side to me.
All right, so long 1YM.
And I like your 800 target as well.
Yeah, so. And now we got my first target on my MYM long. So now my average is down at 44.70. My stop is still down below opening range. And then as far as the YM scalp goes, we're just looking for 30 points, which would put us right at 96.
Oh, you should easily get that.
I would hope so, but I have a great ability to get like one tick from my take profit, and then
we've all been there, my guy.
I would call it a talent at this point. Like the amount of times that happens, especially since we're on stream right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that would be a phenomenal ability, to be honest. Like, we got the streak curse going on.
Yep.
But we're getting pretty close.
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't have the stream curse today, so it might be on you.
Might be. I've moved my stop to break even though, so I mean the trade is free. So we're just chilling.
I don't know. I still
I'm
like
not
your trade.
not risking anything on the day. So we got our MYM chilling. So if that wants to run, we'll be okay. If not, no matter what, we're green on the day. Even though it's not a whole lot, I mean, you still gotta place every single brick on the building to make the building. So no matter how many bricks you place at once, the building's still making progress.
Dropping knowledge bombs over there. Knowledge bombs, Goose. Speaking of knowledge bombs, I saw you post in Level Up. You might have done it in yours as well, but I saw it really in Level Up. You showed some stats that you had a lot of like consecutive losing streaks, and I kind of want you to touch on beginning traders when they're in those losing streaks, the importance of sizing down.
Well, that's like, I don't know. The big problem with prop firms is your starting capital is so low. Like $2,000 is like nothing when it comes to futures trade, especially like even with 1MNQ. Like that's really not a whole lot because you can evaporate through that pretty quick. So the big thing I usually I'll just scream about nonstop is like you have to make sure your risk can hold any losing streak that you will take, like your average losers, because in order to see a winning streak, you have to survive your losing streaks. And I have losing streaks all the time. And just because like you can have a losing streak of like 10 trades, right? So you have a losing streak of 10 trades. Well, then you'll hit a winner. Well, that doesn't mean you're going to hit a winning streak of 10 trades. You might only have 1 or 2 winners and then hit your next losing streak again. So you have to basically just make sure your leverage and your average losers makes sense to where you can survive those losing streaks, still have an account, and still have the ability to trade the same size leverage in the same plan, even after going through a gnarly losing streak. Like we have a guy in our chat named Zoiza, and he has demonstrated exactly what I'm talking about as far as like managing your risk and everything. And his average winning day comes out to around $250 to $500. Like that's his kind of average winning-ish day. He's been sized down a little bit because he had a pretty gnarly losing streak.
Okay.
So he sized down a little bit. So now his average winning day is like $250.
In the chat.
Yeah, Zoi's is in the chat. What's up? So he's managed his losers very, very well to where his biggest losing day is only about $150, right? So $100 to $150. And he had, I don't know, it was like a 5 or 6 day losing streak. And it only took him 2 winning days to make up that entire losing streak. And our break even got hit on YM, by the way.
Oh no.
So MYM's still chilling though. And that's why we set the break even. That's not gonna be risking any profits today. So yeah, he was able to completely make up that entire losing streak in just 2 trades, just because he managed his losers very well. And on his winning days, he presses pretty hard. You get a little bit green on the day, make the decision, okay, I have this much capital to risk, I'm not going red on the day. Then you can press a little harder. Big problem I think a lot of people make, as well as they get red, and those are the days that they press hard because they won't be back green. It's like, if you're red, you're obviously not seeing things correctly. Don't press on that day. Yeah. Press on the days that you're seeing correctly and make your green days bigger. And like for me, I have a personal rule. Like if I'm red on the day and I've taken more than 3 trades, I'm done. Like I'm checking out. I'm taking 3 trades and I'm red. Like what the heck am I doing? I obviously don't know what I'm doing. But if I'm green on the day and I've taken 3 trades, I say, okay, how much capital do I have? Let's say I have $500 green on the day. Like, all right, so no matter what on the day, I'm gonna end the day green $300. So I'm giving myself $200 of room to play with. And if I can hit my next winner, well, all of a sudden now I have more capital to play with, and then I'll press hard on those days that I'm seeing things clearly and I have capital to play with. But if I'm not seeing things clearly and I'm red on the day, I just, like I said, I don't press and make those red days even redder. Like I have a maximum loss that I'll take or a 3 trade rule. That has really helped me on making sure that my red days stay small. And like I said, on the green days, I'll press. And some days you're going to give back a little bit on your green days because you're trying to press. But that's why we try to ensure that we're still ending the day somewhat green. Because like I was saying before, it doesn't matter how many bricks you set at once, as long as you're still setting bricks on your building is being closer and closer to being built.
Right. Yeah, I like that. Because we have guys. I honestly have guys in my Discord that will get massively green on the day and know that they should walk away and don't lock themselves out or walk away as well. And then they end up giving a huge chunk of their profits back. Where if they would have just walked away, everything would be fine and they'd be happy.
Yeah, that's a big part of it too, is like also preventing yourself from just being a greedy little bitch, right?
Yeah.
Like you also need to know when it's time. Like if you've hit your trades and they've been good, like there's a certain point to like walk away. Or like what I do is, like say, if I get green, I will only take, like if I'm going to go press, I'm only pressing on A+ setups, right? Like this setup is too good to take, and then but we're still going to end the day. Like the biggest thing, like, no matter what, making sure you end the day green, which I feel like a lot of people, like when they go to press, they make that mistake of they'll go green to red, which you never want to do. Never go green to red. That's the silliest thing you can do. Like ensure, like you got green, just stay there. Just make sure you stay green, and you'll be okay. And it looks like they came back and got my break even. They're gonna rip it now. It's kind of bullshit, but
yeah. At least it was on YM. Well, welcome to NVIDIA on YM, my guy.
Yeah. I still got my MYM long, so like I said,
okay.
I will hold this MYM long all week if it allows me to. So what'll happen is I have my stop set below today's opening range, at about 510. And let me make sure it's at 510 as I say that. So stop is set, or my trailing stop is set at 510 below today's opening range. So if price ends up running the rest of the week, I will hold this trade all week long. Like this is just a setup for a swing trade to basically last week's highs. If we can break above Friday's high, I'll start trailing pretty tight. Like let's say Tuesday opens above Friday's high, I'll move my trailing stop up below Tuesday's opening range, and then that'll be my new trailing stop. I'll kind of move my trailing stop along with every day's opening range, but I have to be careful. On Wednesdays is usually the rebalance day. So those are usually the hardest days to manage. I know last week we talked about doing a stream on Wednesday, but I was in that short thing and I was like, man, I got to be watching because it's going to be the hard. And it came back to that Sunday opening gap. So I was really having to manage that short swing, and then ended up, finally selling all the way back off. But Wednesdays are pretty hard to manage. And then, if I can survive Wednesday on a swing trade, and I will take profit at Thursday low, which what I mean by that is Thursday will set a low, and then I will take profit. Or if I'm on a short,
right.
like last week's short, I took profit when Friday broke Thursday's low. Like that is my take profit point. So that's basically how I manage those trades. And like it would be the same thing. Like I have no idea if this swing trade is going to take off or not. We're not necessarily in a great spot, but it's still worth the attempt, especially being Monday. If we make a high of the week on Thursday, that's going to be where I set my take profit, and I'll be looking for Friday to break that Thursday high of the week, and then that will be where I take profit on a swing long. If it goes there, it might not go there. We'll see. That's just how Mondays usually set up. If, like I said, we're kind of just in a weird spot in the middle of the range, so I'm not necessarily sure if this swing trade is a great idea, but it's light enough leverage worth taking the stab at.
Tell me this. Oh, it finally fixed itself. For the last week, my hourly YM chart has had a 2,000 point gap on it. Yeah. Right. And it never
from rollover.
I guess so, but it was showing a 2,000 point gap, which doesn't exist. There might be like a 200 point gap somewhere, I would assume.
Oh, are you on
Rhythmic?
You're on Top Step, right? So it's Rhythmic there?
Yeah.
So that is an actual Rhythmic problem in itself. I've sent multiple, because a lot of the people in our chat also were having the same problem with YM. For some reason, they just missed an entire Friday's worth of data. And so it just had some massive gap and like made no sense for charting. So we had a bunch of people send in request tickets of that fix, and apparently they got it fixed if it's not showing that anymore. But that was showing up for like weeks of, for some reason, their data. Like, I don't understand how you're a big company like that and like you just have problems like that. It's like, how the fuck? I don't understand. It drives me crazy.
So you're gonna hold your position till Thursday, is what you're saying? Is what you're thinking?
Yeah. So I'll pull this up right here. So the plan on this, let's hide that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you try to hack if you want, I guess. So the plan here would be, so this is the bottom of opening range at 510. The idea would be that Monday's opening range holds, and then I would just hold this all the way until when Thursday sets its high a day. So basically Thursday after close is when I'll put my profit target up, and that'll be at just Thursday's high a day. And I expect Friday to break Thursday's high a day, and that would be my profit target. I don't know how much further Friday goes than Thursday's high a day. I'm just playing off that one statistic.
So
that Thursday or that Friday should be high.
Let's see here. So you're targeting above 44K?
If it wants to go there. I mean, I have no idea how far it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Like, ideally, we have our last untested POC up at 44,384.
Okay.
That would be the most. Like, I would either take profit there or Thursday's high a day. Those are the two numbers that I would look for. So that'd be, I don't know, 800-ish points on YM, but those are the two most likely targets.
It's a big trade. It's a big trade, my guy.
It's a big trade, but it's only one MYM, right? So it's not like it's like points wide it is big, but I'm like I said, I'm very, very light. So I didn't know exactly how this entry was gonna work out.
It's looking like the short's starting to set up on ES and NAS. I don't know.
That's super cool how I would have gotten my fill on my one YM trade. So
I have been there, my guy. I have been there.
That happens to me. So let's. Oh well, we'll try again sometime.
You'll try it again later on today, probably.
Probably, maybe not. I don't know. I got spots on my floor in my basement I gotta deal with later. So
wait, you got a leaky roof over there?
No, it's in my base. So like I said, we got 2 inches or 4 inches of rain in like 2 or 3 hours. So there's just outside the house, like it's just flooding, right? So there's spots where the water was so high it was coming over like the windows and shit and like just leaking onto the basement. Not like and most of my basement is tile floor, so it's not like it's a big deal. But
you don't have carpet in there, do you?
I got one spot where it's got carpet and it's wet, so it's sad.
Oh no.
But that one, I went out and I was like, man, why do we have water coming down right here? The water spout broke, and it's just dumping water down the backside of my foundation because it's supposed to be going way out, but it's just dumping water down the backside of my foundation. So,
when was your house built?
Yeah, that was 1950 something.
Oh, it's an older home. Okay.
Older home, yeah. So, I do like the older homes though, because like usually pretty well built. This one's got like the 2x4s that are actually 2x4. So I do like the old houses, especially in like Kansas, when you have so many tornadoes and shit that go through. If it's been here since the 50s, that means it's probably survived a couple tornadoes. So
yeah.
Really, it's not in a tornado-ridden area, so that's usually a good indication. The newer homes lately have been just garbage. Like they're so garbage. It drives me insane.
Well, they're just mass produced as quick as they can. Like
yeah, like most of the time they're building them too fast to where the foundation isn't completely set up. That is really gonna make me mad about that YM getting break even before run.
It's gonna drive you nuts. Scott, Scott, you were my thought when I asked Goose that question. Yes, you were my thoughts. Sanders has a problem locking himself out. He likes to click the buttons.
Oh yeah, you gotta. Well, so here's my other thing. If people got like a genuine like addiction / like degenerative problem, have a degen account. Like just go on Bullinox and get like a $15 account. And like if you gotta click, like if you just gotta click the button, which you should work on having the discipline to not do that. But like if you're like, I just gotta click the button, have yourself a degen account. So when the degen account blows up every other week, you're like, oh wow, I'm glad I didn't do that to my main account, you know?
Well, it's funny because like they'll ask me, people like Scott, he'll ask me, he'll be like, what do you recommend that I do? And I'm like, it doesn't really matter what I say, Scott. You're gonna click those buttons regardless. I already know. At the end of the day, it's up to you as the individual trader.
Yeah, like you still have to have that discipline within yourself to make sure you're not clicking the buttons and you're locking the profit. And also, I don't know, I don't think people understand how much money they're actually making sometimes.
Oh, 100%.
You know, if you make $200 in like just one trade right off the rip on the day, it's like, all right, well that's like salary wise, that's like 80K, right? So just don't be a greedy little bitch sometimes. Yeah, Rob. I guess Top Step X does have a lockout feature. So if you're trading with Top Step and you're on a Top Step X eval or combine is what they call them, or an XFA, you can lock yourself out, and they will not allow you to get back in. I like the manual lockout button. I don't like profit target button or profit target lockouts, just for what we talked about earlier with like pressing on your. Yeah, I don't like being limited to how much I can make on a day.
Yeah,
because there might be days where things are hitting or you catch a runner and that could be a 9K day, but your profit target locked you out. You got a percentage rule like, oh, I can't make more than this. And, you know, I could have had an absolutely banger trade, but I was forced to take profit because I was past my profit target or whatever.
Oh yeah, on a funded, I hate the consistency targets on any prop that puts them on there when you're in a funded account. Like I really dislike them.
Yeah, it's super annoying, and it's just like trading isn't something where to make the same exact amount of dollars every single day. It's an average, right? So like you're gonna have days where you make like $3, and then you're gonna have days where you make like 9K.
Yeah.
But you need to be able to, you know, have those runners or those is available to where you can make 9K, and like it's not gonna be like, oh, I made 9K, and now I have to make that 5 more times before I can even access my money. You know, like I hate that.
Yeah, What if you're in one of those trades, like one of those $10,000 trades, you know, and you have to cut it at 2,000 because you have to stay within a consistency target. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that just absolutely, I mean, it burns everything. I have a perfect example of this from last week. I had one day that was almost like 9K. But it was only just because I caught that run. If I was required to have like a profit target, I never would have, or a consistency rule, I never would have had that. Luckily, it was in personal account, and I was able to just let the runner run.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find. Oh, we were talking about lost. I was trying to find where I could see that on my trade viz.
Yeah, you had posted something where you had like 5 or 6 consecutive losses, and it probably, I don't know what it added up to total loss wise on the P&L. I didn't look that closely into it, but I did see a streak of red, and then the recovery. And
it was pretty decent. It was a pretty decent streak of red. Here it is. Let me hold on. I gotta get the buy and sell quantity on there. There we go. So here's
So this is all from, let me make sure it's all from this month. Yeah. So this is all November here. We'll scroll down. The start of November was not pretty. I think this is my loss streak right here. So, is it? Yeah. Oh, it's not showing all pages. That's why. 250. There we go. Here, my loss streak. Maybe. Is that not showing everything? Where's the loss streak that I posted the other day? Maybe that is. So here you can just see like a plethora of losers. Like, yeah, I'd catch a couple little winners here and there, but like for the most part, I was catching more losers than I was winners. But luckily my losers were managed enough to where later on I was able to catch, you know, a nice winning streak. But it just seemed like every trade I was taking like was just getting stopped. Like I was just continuously getting stopped, and my runners or my wins weren't like actually going. Luckily I had like one okay winner right here on NQ, but even then, like it wasn't really paying for all the losers that I had. So I had to be able to survive this like losing streak that I was kind of on beginning of November, which went on for like 3 days. I had like 3 days of having much more losers than I did winners. But because I was able to survive this like little bit of a losing streak here, I was then able to see like a pretty like winning streak where I went on a pretty good tear of like a couple days there where I had all of my trades like actually went to where they were supposed to go. But it took, like I said, you'll have weeks or so where you go and like I was fighting basically just to be break even like for those few days. And then finally, like I said, once you survive to hit that winning streak, you know, then it's okay. And I didn't have myself in such a deep hole where it took, you know, an entire week or month to then, you know, just dig right back out of that hole.
Yeah. Well, you went the whole entire month of October with no red days, right? No red days, right?
October was pretty sick, yeah. But it was an anomaly. Like I've had red day already like this month. So like November's had 2 rays. This day actually started off.
Does that say $26? No.
Yeah. But that day started off pretty gnarly red. I was lucky to come back on the day because that was in that losing streak that I showed you.
Okay.
It started pretty gnarly red, and then I had that one like decent $600 winner that kind of made it up. But that day was almost gonna be pretty red, and then
yeah, but
like
still,
Monday.
Look at the consistency, and then you have almost a $9,000 day and 2 $4,000 days and a $6,500 day in there. I mean,
yeah, last week was pretty good.
yeah.
But like the Monday of that week when I talked about swing trades, I took a lot of stabs. Like I even took stabs on Sunday night, and the stab Sunday night worked, but my runner kept getting caught. And then Monday I took quite a few stabs at the short, and I kept getting break even or stopped, or I kept getting like tight stops and evens. Like I could not get, like it's saying I had 2 wins, but they're really wins. They're just break evens for like a point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just could not get a trade to go. And then finally, I hunted that short like all night. I took a few stabs overnight between Monday, Tuesday, and took a few more break evens until finally, Tuesday, I got the trade to work, and it ran really far. Because Tuesday we had that big sell, and then I continued taking those shorts Thursday and Friday, or Wednesday and Thursday. A lot of break evens. Continued to try to hit that short before it finally took off, and then the same thing. There was a lot of micros on Wednesday as well, and then Thursday, same thing with the short. Just chasing that short. But last week, like I said, it was a great week, but you know, it took a lot of like work and break evens to try to finally catch that.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe that's the key, is taking those paper cuts, you know, the break even, so to speak, you know, or small losses.
Taking those paper cuts to be able to catch the one. Like if you have your like win to reward or your risk to reward ratio kind of correct, and I don't run like a defined risk reward ratio on my trades. Like it's a very arbitrary amount of
points depending on where the levels are. You know, no idea where like Thursday's high is going to be, right? For like this attempt at long that I'm taking. But you know, I'll keep taking stabs until it doesn't make sense to take stabs anymore, especially if I'm able to get in with like really tight risk. Like Tuesday or Monday last week, we were taking trades with like pretty tight risk, you know, and had, you know, it definitely, you can see by the P&L on Tuesday, like it made sense to take quite a few stabs at it if we had that much potential on the trade.
So like, do you have a defined like hard stop, or do you kind of structurally place your stops, like as far as like looking at the chart, prior swing highs or prior swing lows? Do you place your do you base your entries and stops based on that, or is it a defined like point amount?
So it's kind of changed it a little bit depending on how much size I'm playing with, you know, like YM. If I'm trading MIM like we are right now, the point value is so low that I don't have a problem with widening my stops, which sometimes can be a problem. But like if I'm actually trading size, like on YM especially, I will not take more than a 30-point stop on YM. Sometimes maybe it'll get bumped out to like 50 if I really, really, really like the trade. But I mean, that's only 30 points on YM is $150. So if I, you know, lengthen it out to 50, that's $250 of risk. But if I'm targeting 400 points, you know, that'll, you know, that risk reward definitely makes sense.
Yeah,
you know,
could take three losers before you ever even need to worry about anything.
Yeah, 3 losers at four or so losers at, you know, 50-point stop on YM. Like that's a really wide stop. Can still come out on the profitable side. So that's I don't know, if you trade light enough leverage, you can make those bigger trades like that really work out. Oh, YM's starting to sell a little bit.
Do you focus on win percentage a whole lot? I don't put a whole lot of weight into it.
No, like October, I had like I said, October was an anomaly where I had a really good win percentage, but generally it's not that good. Like my thing is like, if you can be around a 50% win rate and then your winners are bigger than your losers, or like you catch like one good winner, all of a sudden you're profitable. And that's all this game has to be. So like what I tell people all the time is I have a few people that are like doing like one-on-one coaching like under me and stuff. And like the first thing we work on for a couple weeks is just like, I'll get them on like MYM and like, hey, like 30-point stop, 30-point take profit, work on just being break even. Like make sure you can see more with winning setups or just as many winning setups as you do losing setups. So like we'll have people, or I'll have people like just learn how to get break even on just a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, just learning to see good setups. And once they get that 50% win rate ish, like it doesn't even have to be exactly 50. It can be just like a little bit worse. It's like, okay, now that you see a 50% win rate, now I'll move to 2 MYM. And what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly what we've been doing, but on your trades, you'll let one winner run to 60 points. You'll let one runner run to 60 points. And then your other one, you know, you'll still top at 30, and then we'll still have our stop at 30. And it's like, all right, now all of a sudden, we're still have the 50% win rate, but our winners now quite a bit bigger than our losers are. So now we're profitable, and all we have is a 50% win rate, right? So that's what we work towards. And then eventually, you know, as things go on, you can start adding more contracts and holding runners longer and so on and so forth, to where, you know, you can have a 50% or even a little bit worse win rate. But because of the way you're managing your winning trades, you're profitable.
Now, when do you, you know, you moved your stop to break even relatively quickly on the trades today, with the exception of the swing trade, that swing position that you're in. How quickly do you move to break even?
Generally, so in that situation, I moved to break even just because we're buying the top, right? We're buying a breakout trade, and it's not necessarily like those breakouts like that. It came back to opening range, is now dripping again. Maybe I should have taken that, but kind of distracted.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm picking your brain right now.
I'm not concerned at all. But for break evens, at least most of the time, I don't move to break evens until I've taken profit on my core position. So let's say I'm trading 3 contracts on YM, right? And I am planning to take off 2 contracts at 30 points. All right, so at 30 points, I take off 2 contracts, then I'll move stop to break even and let my runner do whatever. Until my core position hits its profit target, I don't move to break even.
Okay, so you always are putting, for the most part, you're always putting multiple contracts on, having a TP1, TP2, TP3 type thing.
Yeah, and it's like I said, for me, generally my win rate's around 50%ish. So if I couldn't trade multiple contracts, I would probably be break even or unprofitable. If I was only trading 1 contract. Outside of, like I said, October was an anomaly with the win rate, but like generally, like I said, it's with multiple contracts, I do not think I would be profitable, or if I was profitable, it'd be a lot more close to break even than anything, because my runners in those trades that are going for longer than 30 points on YM, those are the ones that are really where my, like, the main profit was made. Like we looked at Tuesday last week, my core and my position came off at 30, just like everything else, but those runners were able to run for so much that it really made up for it. Same thing like with NQ, I'll take off, like for NQ, my position always comes off at like 20 points, because that's, or my average stop on NQ is around 15 to 20 points. So my core comes off around, 50 to 20 points. And then if I can catch a runner, like we see on NQ all the time, it can run for up to 500 points. That runner is going to pay for basically all of my profit on, all those other trades.
Yeah, well, I mean, your TP1's what? Just eliminating the paper cuts that you've taken to get there, and then your runner's basically where your profits are coming in, is what you're saying. Are you normally like 3 contracts per trade or more, or is it 2?
It really depends. It really depends. On YM, on my personal account on YM, I'll generally be 2 to 4 YM.
Okay.
On NQ, most of the time it's micros. Last week I got a little ambitious with some minis, and I was trading like 3 minis on NQ on a couple of those trades. But like I said, my personal account has the room to do that. Generally, that's so much leverage and risk. I just don't like do that, even though I can afford it. It's just like I'm still at this point where, when the P&L moves, you start getting like 4 digits on the P&L. Like, that's still a lot of money. Like, that's a lot of money. I don't like seeing the P&L move that much to the red side. So, generally, I'll trade micros on NQ, and I'll trade maybe 15 to 20 micros on NQ, even though the commissions are, if I get to where I'm trading 20 micros on NQ, generally I'll just 2 minis. 15 is generally pretty nice. The commissions are a little bit high, but like I said, we're looking for big enough trades that generally it doesn't matter. I'm not taking 400 trades a day. I'm generally looking at maybe 3 attempts at 1 big trade. So the commissions aren't that big of a deal. But then with YM, I trade minis on YM just because the risk on YM is a lot more manageable, in my opinion, than NQ.
I remember back in the day, we were in good games when Apex when Matt first started trading with Apex, and there was somebody clowning about how do you stay within this consistency target, and I think I chimed in, well, when you're consistently targeting 50 plus points, it's pretty easy to stay in a consistency target. And you came in like, yep. Yep. It's pretty easy to consistently target 50 points.
Oh yeah, I remember we were arguing with the bot.
Yeah. Oh, were we? Is that what it was? All right.
Yeah. We were arguing with that one bot chick, but yeah, it's not too hard to hit the consistency target when you're consistently looking for like the same amount of points.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. Man, you got me scared for this weather, man, because I'm kind of like, I deal with the weather a day or 2 after you do with where I'm located. And now you've got me concerned because we're kind of expecting our first snow this week as well.
Oh, that sucks for you.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro.
Have you looked at radar? Look at radar over Kansas. Basically, I'm in the middle of a hurricane right now.
Oh, that does not sound promising for me in the coming days.
Yeah, it's horrible. It makes me sad because I had a lot of plans. Like, I was gonna go ride my dirt bike later today, and I don't think that's happening. I might get out the jet ski, if anything, and go to Target.
That was the funniest thing because I lived in, I went to college at Charleston to finish up my bachelor's degree. And Charleston kind of sits below sea level right on the coast. And so every time it rains, the downtown floods, right? But
yeah,
our college campus was right in the middle of downtown Charleston. So you would be walking through like 2 feet of water. But what would happen is the frat bros would come out there with their jacked up lifted trucks, and they would be towing the wakeboards behind them through the streets of downtown Charleston whenever it rained heavy.
Now that sounds like a guy.
I figured that would be right up your alley.
Yeah,
Mason, Mason, do not put that out in the universe, brother. I do not need a flooded basement part 2. I know Goose is dealing with it right now, but I want nothing to do with it again.
Oh, did you get a flooded basement too?
Brother, I just had to go through a huge renovation of my main floor and the basement.
Oh, that's
because
horrible.
Well, mine was a plumbing issue though. Mine was a plumbing backup.
Ooh, sewer line come into the basement?
No, like it was just a blockage out towards the road. And we were running the laundry here one day, and I heard water running, and I went downstairs, and water was flowing out of the toilet from the downstairs, but it smelled like fabric softener, like laundry detergent. So I was like, oh, let me go hit the water main, which is in the basement. I go down to the basement, dude, and it is like a waterfall through the ceiling in my basement. Half the basement's flooded out. So luckily insurance covered everything, but yeah.
Yeah, we love that.
Mm-hmm.
I had an incident in an old rental that I lived in, and the sewer line would get backed up kind of often. I think it was like collapsing further down the line, but it was like a really long, it was 100 feet to the main line, right? So it's kind of long. And some plumber guy came out, and he goes to go snake that sewer line, and he sent the snake into my house instead of down the line.
Oh no.
And so it broke the line into my house, and then the entire sewer line that was up unloaded into my basement at this rental.
How awful was that smell?
It was horrible. Luckily, like the plumber had like a team come out, they like cleaned the whole basement and everything, and there was no car. It was an unfinished basement, so that was the lucky part.
Oh, so it was just concrete?
It was just concrete. So they got all that cleaned up and fixed, and
yeah, but still, that's stench, dude. Could you even stay in your house? Like that smell had to be awful.
What was awesome is happened at 11 p.m.
Unbelievable, brother.
I worked the next day.
I mean, they put you up in a hotel, didn't they?
No, because I was helping. I didn't want like people in my house when I wasn't there, right? So, yeah, I was there till like, I don't know. They cleaned until probably 4 a.m.
Oh, they did it right then and there.
Yeah, they did it right then and there.
Okay.
Which was nice. So, but I was there the whole time they were doing it, and oh my god, it was horrible. It stank so bad. It stank for a while afterwards too.
Yeah, brother. It's
and
sewage,
then once,
brother. It's human fecal matter and whatnot.
As far as being in the house, like after that, we weren't in the house for maybe like 3 days with like the windows open and everything and letting it air out, because I mean, even though I cleaned it, it still stank.
Yeah, that's, oh man, I can only imagine. I would have thrown up.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even go in the basement when it happened. Like I saw the water come in the basement. I was like, oh my god, that's disgusting. And I wasn't part of the cleanup process at all down there. It was disgusting. I was just more so there to, navigate people in and out of the house.
No, I just I had to go stay in a hotel for like a week when they were doing the major renos because of the dust and everything that was coming into the house, obviously from ripping out floors and sanding and refinishing and doing all that. But once I got back in, everything's good now. But it seemed like a 3-month process for them to replace all that flooring and drywall.
Yeah, that's no fun. I do need to renovate my basement down here. I'm too lazy.
It may be sooner than later if it keeps flooding.
At this point, well, I'm gonna get some concrete and go fix where the water does come in
down over here, I'm gonna go raise that up a little bit and pour a little bit of concrete so that doesn't happen again. The only reason it came in is because that spigot broke, and it's been too wet since that rain, because this only happened like Friday of last week, right? So it's still been too wet to do anything up. Now it's raining again, so I haven't been able to fix where that water broke to, and I just need to go against my foundation, pour a little bit of concrete, and then we put some dirt on top of that and raise it up to where the water just sheds off better. Morning, actually, before we hopped on stream, I went out and redug my trench to make sure the water was draining away from the house.
You went out in the monsoon and dug the trench, huh?
Out in the monsoon. I was soaking wet maybe 3 minutes before we started this game.
That's funny. Yeah, here we are on a trading stream and we're talking about flooded basements and whatnot. It's funny.
Yeah, that's the gauge of market condition right now. NQ kind of.
We're at that spot where the market needs to probably consolidate for a little bit through lunch. So.
Yeah, hopefully it consolidates and then continues the rip, and at least, like I said, at least takes off day highs.
There's Dave.
If we can
slinging.
We can take out Friday highs. I think we're looking really good for, the continuation long, keep on going, but we're gonna have to get there first.
Yeah.
And I would look for NVIDIA to be good things as well. So hopefully we can continue up and.
So
130 right now.
NQ back above 20,800. I like for continuation. Yeah. Oh, what are you talking about on YM? 130?
Yeah, 130 points ish from where my long is on MYM. But MYM is not like it's that much P&L wise. I need it to run for it to really be worth anything.
What is Ollie saying there? We're at 240 subs. Yeah, it's the Goose effect, Ollie. It's the Goose effect. This happened last time. He always brings the subs. He's a good guy.
I throw up the stream in my Discord. I say what's up. 29 likes too. So okay, the people are at least contributing. I was gonna have to throw hands if we had a bunch of people watching and no one liking, but we're good on the like to watching ratio.
Yeah, I haven't looked at any of that today. I've more or less just been chilling with you guys.
Yeah, well, it's been an okay morning. Okay morning at the OK Bing Factory.
I wasn't even looking at the analytics.
Oh, I'm big on stats, so I'm always checking analytics of everything.
Anon Trader? Uh-oh. Who's in the chat? Who's Anon Trader? If it's who I think it is.
Do we need to throw hands? Swear to God. Find out.
Nah, Anon is a longtime old friend.
Oh, okay. So he's chilled in. We don't gotta. Yeah. We don't take him out back and teach him a lesson or anything. I'd say I'll decoy on him.
It says, "Tell Goose it's me." Yeah, Goose knows who you are, Anon. He knows who you are. Hey, Anon. We need to discuss what happened on Friday, brother, at some point. I know we haven't discussed it yet, but we need to discuss what happened on Friday because all signs are pointing towards something. And I'm not going to say what it is on stream. I'm not going to be that guy, but I need verification.
Yeah, we know what you did. We know what you did. You ain't fooling us none.
Yeah. Goose, what are you looking at for the rest of the day? Before we we'll give a little rundown and then we'll probably end the stream here. It's 11:30. I'm getting hungry.
Sounds good. Hawaiian Bros open today in Wichita, so I'm going there after the stream.
Yeah.
It's grand opening day for Hawaiian Bros. So
are we gonna get some food pics?
Oh, we will definitely get food pics.
All right.
Can guarantee that. Especially since it's raining, I can't do fuck all else. So outside of mop up my basement.
But as far as trades today, like I definitely botched the YM long apparently on as far as like with minis and the size goes. Botched that, so that's a little on the sad side. But I mean, as far as swings go, I got this MYM long going, and we're long from 43,470. And I have no intention of really taking profit on this today. This is just gonna go until, like I said, if I can get it. What day is NVIDIA earnings this week?
Wednesday at the close.
Wednesday at close. So if I can, ideally, I'm gonna hold this till Wednesday after close.
Honestly,
if NVIDIA earnings are like, I'm gonna try to have this hold this through NVIDIA earnings.
Well, you should have your trailing stop moved up at that point anyway. So like,
yeah.
I mean,
so like Wednesday low would be my trailing stop wherever it ends up being going into earning.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get stopped out before that, like sell off this afternoon, come get my trailing stop. Who knows?
True.
But,
yeah, true.
That is the ideal plan. But I mean, it as far as like P&L goes, like I said, we're up 130, 140 points right now on YM, and it's only $84 in profit. Like this needs to go a lot for it to really, start being anything worthwhile. So like I said, we'll hold. Ideally,
you're in a really good spot, though, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm very happy with where we ended up getting long at. I threw a couple contracts on this on that little bit of a sell, and then was able to get this one runner where I really wanted it to be. But that's the advantage playing really, really light leverage on MYM. You can kind of get into these longer swing trades. But ideally, I would like to hold this through Wednesday earnings. I have no idea if that's actually going to happen. More than likely, I'm planning on getting my trailing stop hit. That is more than likely what's going to happen. But if it doesn't happen and this ends up running, I'm going to hold this through NVIDIA earnings. And if NVIDIA earnings are really good, then, I'll probably be looking to take profit on Thursday or whenever Friday breaks Thursday high. This just kind of depends on how the set's up. We do have that untested POC at, what is this price here? 44,380-ish. If we get that, I'll take profit there for sure. Or like I said, Thursday high. We will take profit. One of those two areas is where I would take profit on this swing long, but overall looking more to the upside for this week if we manage to stay above opening range today.
I like it. Honestly, if NVIDIA earnings come out really positive, I almost say hold to all-time highs.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it necessarily. All-time highs aren't much higher than that. So, like I said, we're only, 200 points away. If we get that 44.38 level, we're only 200 points from all-time highs. But
is there a point where you would add?
A point where I'd add? Not with NVIDIA earnings, I don't think. I think it's more of we're just going to let this one trade go. Because the big thing with adding, especially on these longer swing trades, is I hate ruining my average, right? Like right now, my average is in the perfect spot where it's below Monday opening range, which is like the safest spot to be. I'll move my trailing stop up for sure. But as far as adding, it gets really tough to add, especially through like Wednesday and stuff. Like maybe if NVIDIA earnings are really good, maybe I'll add after NVIDIA earnings and, move my stop below wherever, in profit wherever. But with NVIDIA earnings, I don't think I'm adding until at least after then.
I mean, I like where you're in because you're in at the bottom of a consolidation area. It's broken out to the top side. Yeah, I like your position. I like your position for the long-term hold.
Yeah, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it holds. Most like I said, more than likely it doesn't. But if it does, it ends up being a really good trade. And no matter what, at this point too, we're in profit, right? Like this is a profitable trade. No matter what, it's just a matter of like if this can run, it ends up being a really great trade. And I can get some good fire emojis out of this. I mean, the main reason I'm doing it anyway is just for the fire. The only reason I hold trades is for fire emojis.
Just no more screenshots for the rest of the trade. All right.
No more, hey, look, we haven't posted a screenshot. I won't post any screenshots for the rest of the trade. It's just we're doing this for the fire emojis.
Yeah. Well, all right, brother. Well, I'll let you go eat your Hawaiian, brothers. I appreciate you coming on stream.
Absolutely. When we can make it happen, I'm always down to make it happen.
Yeah, obviously you have an open invitation, my guy. Obviously there's an open invitation whenever. So you just let me know whenever you're free and ready, and we will accommodate on our end.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. Sir.
Yeah, obviously. Guys, I'm ending up the session up a little over $2,000 on one trade.
Can we get some claps for Wesley? Big claps. Like that was the trade you took on NQ was phenomenal. Great trade.
It felt good. I'm not gonna lie. It felt good to get that one on a Monday. Normally Mondays I try to take a little bit slower, but that one looked like it was gonna run for me, so I hung in there.
Well, and to make up for, like I said, you had a tough Friday, but to make up for that Friday in literally just one trade.
Yep.
I mean, I know you had your overnight one, but just that one trade there makes up for all of Friday.
Yep.
That's a fantastic feeling going into the rest of the week, being that there's no hole to dig out of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now I'm freed up. I'm no longer feel the stress of Friday weighing on my shoulders, so I can trade like with an open mind at this point. So
absolutely.
You got anything to say to the chat before we get out of here?
Eat banana bread, make money. That's all I ever got to say.
Gang signs and yum yum zones.
Eat banana bread, toss some gang signs and yum yum zones, and make money. That's the banana bread way.
All right, guys. Well, I will be back tomorrow morning at 9:20 a.m. Eastern. Goose, good luck with your swing trade. We'll be in touch, obviously. We'll be talking. And enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Trade safe, stay patient, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.